So this is another great product I've developed with Trick Tools. It's a backstop for a shrinker and stretcher, and I'll show you how it works. So these shrinkers and stretchers have been around since the 1940s. They're a standby for all metal workers. They either shrink metal by gathering it or stretch it by pulling it apart. And the way they come from the factory, they can shrink up to 1-inch depth. And there certainly are times when you want to shrink the full depth. But more often I find that it helps to shrink a partial depth. And that's what this backstop allows you to do. Let's say we want to shrink 3/4 of an inch deep. I can set the backstop to that position, and then it limits how deeply the metal can go into the machine. So let's make a pass across the edge of this panel at the 3/4 inch depth. And you can see it's certainly making the metal move. I'll pull this out in just a second so you can see the result. So we have a low crown curve in this direction and a low crown curve in that direction. If we want to accentuate this curve, it can be helpful to drop this down so we're only shrinking about a 1/2 inch deep. So let's take a look at what that does. So shrinking a 1/2 inch deep gives us more curvature in both directions. And let's go to a 1/4 inch depth, and you'll see that accentuates it even to a greater degree. So now you can see how we have a gradually increasing curve that gets greater as it reaches the edge of the metal. So that's how it works with the shrinker. Let's take a look at the stretcher now. I have this set to a 1/2 inch depth, and let's just stretch along this edge and you'll see what the result is. One of the things you might use a stretcher for is correcting errors you made when shrinking. If you over shrink an area, you can stretch it back out. But also, if your goal is to create a reverse curve, the stretcher is a very good tool to do that. So I'll make one more pass on this edge and show you what's going on. So this is a reverse curve, or a ducktail. So it's curved up in this direction, but at the same time it has a curve in this direction. So stretching an edge is a great way to create a reverse curve, and the backstop really helps with that process.